Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel for my final video of 2020, the worst year in relation to being a film buff in recent memory. As a film buff and reviewer, it's been hard to find some decent movies to talk about this year. However, it has once again come to that time of year where I rank my top 10 favourite movies. I have not seen every single movie of 2020, even though the list is pretty limited, so there may be some great films that you've seen that I haven't gotten around to watching yet, or maybe they just didn't make the top 10 list. Let's start with some honourable mentions for the films I really enjoyed this year but didn't crack the top 10. They are The Sound of Metal, Da 5 Bloods, Tenet, Hamilton, The Invisible Man, The Gentleman, Waves, The Way Back, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Dreamland, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, 1917, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, Mank, and Bad Education. Now, here are my top 10 movies of 2020, starting with Soul at number 10.
22 has been at the U Seminar for quite some time and has had such notable mentors as Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, and Mother Teresa.
I made her cry.
Ignore that.
Put me
We're
down.
truly glad to have you here, Dr. Borgenson. It is an honour having you prepare 22 for Earth.
I'm gonna make you wish you never died.
Most people wish that, 22.
The final film of 2020 presented itself as one of the year's best, and that is the truth with Pixar's latest movie, Soul. Surprising in every aspect of the word, this film adopts an approach not at children, but at adults this time around, which is not something generally expected with Pixar, as they usually aim for a children's audience with Toy Story, etc. However, this movie touched me as well as my family because it felt real and everything about it was just amazing. From the catchy music to the truly astonishing animation, this wasn't like anything in the trailers, as it's a film that reflects on the importance of just living your life as best you can. Soul easily deserves to be in this list. Following in at number 9 is Richard Jewell.
My clients were the people in the park that night that didn't deserve to get their heads blown off.
You know, I actually feel sorry for you guys when the real bomber does it again and the country asks, where was the FBI? You're gonna say, we were busy getting hair samples from Richard Jewell.
Richard Jewell has stuck with me all the way since February, as Clint Eastwood's brilliant job in the director's seat produced one of the most intense and interesting biopics I've ever seen. Everybody in the cast is brilliant throughout this movie. Sam Rockwell, my favourite actor of all time, and John Hamm, my second favourite actor of all time, were just perfect casting choices to portray such a devastating event on the big screen. This was truly a standout in terms of storytelling. At number 8, I'm placing A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
This piece will be for an issue about heroes. Do you consider yourself a hero?
I don't think of myself as a hero. No, not at all.
What about Mr. Rogers? Is he a hero?
I don't understand the question.
Well, there's you, Fred, and then there's the character you play, Mr. Rogers.
It took me a long time to properly review this film on my channel because it felt like I could relate to the characters, but in such a way that it became hard to write about it. However, as I ended up saying in my review, Tom Hanks is brilliant here and probably gives his best performance since Forrest Gump. It's unfortunate that such a wholesome and feel-good film was missed by so many people. I've watched A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood repeatedly throughout the year, and it gets better every time I watch it, so I think it deserved a solid place in this list. Honey Boy earns 7th place in this list because I've very rarely been so taken aback by a feeling or an emotion.
Listen to me and let me talk!
Lower your voice, Otis.
I want you to be a better dad to me, so I want you to promise me, put your pinky out right now, and I want you to promise me that you're going to be better to me.
Yeah, I'll be better to you.
This is not a joke.
Watching Shia LaBeouf play the role of his abusive father in a story based on his life that he wrote while serving time in prison, the emotion pours out of the screen and into the audience. LaBeouf, because of this movie, earned my respect as a legitimate actor because it wouldn't have been easy to portray somebody so close to you and come to terms with some quite upsetting events of your childhood. It would have been a painful process for him to make this film, and that's why his performance, as well as the whole movie itself, was such a surprising punch in the gut. Continuing on to number 6 is Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always.
You going to New York?
Yeah.
Freaking love New York. It's kind of my favorite city.
Yeah, us too.
Philly's cool and all, you know, it's definitely got history. But New York, like, I think because of the way the city's set up and everything, you're forced to interact with people who are just nothing like you.
Kind of like this bus.
That's funny.
While Honey Boy was a confronting watch, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always goes the extra mile of making the audience uncomfortable. This film is all about a teenage girl travelling with her best friend to get an abortion, and all you can do is sit in shock, realising that this happens in real life. The way the film is made, it makes it feel like we are following these women through their journey to get their abortion, and it's truly upsetting because it feels real. It's honestly one of the hardest films I've ever had to get through because it truly touched me and it really brought on some tears. The performances from Sidney Flanagan and especially Talia Ryder are utterly perfect, and I really see this film going on to win some awards in the coming awards season. In 5th place is The Lighthouse.
Say it. Say it. Say it!
I don't have to say nothing.
Danny! Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow! Hark!
I'm yet to see director Robert Eggers' first film, The Witch, but if The Lighthouse is anything to go off of, I know I'm in for one horrific ride. Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are haunting in this beautifully shot movie, as they both gripped me from the beginning. The reason why I place this above the others in this list is because of the complete and utter madness that is unleashed on screen. The horror is in the details with The Lighthouse, and those details led to the inevitable chaos that we call an ending. It is beautifully terrifying. At number 4 is The Trial of the Chicago 7.
If I understand Mr. Seal, this last month and a half, and I believe I have, he is not represented by counsel.
Overruled. I am being denied right
Mr.
now.
Seal,
my constitutional
will you be quiet?
right for
Will
legal
you?
representation.
Will
you be quiet? You have lawyers to speak for you.
No, he doesn't.
Generally, a movie with a full cast of A-list actors doesn't work. However, the chemistry between every single actor in The Trial of the Chicago 7 was flawless, leaving a brilliant film in its path and some surprise performances specifically from Sacha Baron Cohen. Yes, the person who plays Borat. It's a quickly paced movie and focuses heavily on the court case, all of the intensity of the movie usually emanating from these scenes. While I can definitely see elements of 12 Angry Men within this movie, this film separates itself from anything remotely similar to it. It's such a raw watch that it draws you into their position. Feeling that way towards a film is hard to come across, and that's why I'm placing it up so high. Coming in at 3rd place is the devastatingly underrated Dark Waters.
Has anyone even read the evidence this man has collected? The willful negligence, the corruption? Read it! And then tell me we should be sitting on our asses. That's the reason why Americans hate lawyers. This is the crap that fuels the Ralph Naders of the world. We should want to nail DuPont. All of us should.
I saw this in a cinema back in March before COVID, and there were only 2 other people at that session. Given that there wasn't much range in terms of choosing a new release to go and see, I chose to see Dark Waters that night, and it truly was one of my favourite movie theatre experiences ever. I didn't know what to expect, and coming out with a new favourite performance from Mark Ruffalo was something I would never have guessed would happen. Legal thrillers entice me heavily to such a point where I stop everything I'm doing. This film is based on a true story of a lawyer who took on a chemical manufacturing corporation after they contaminated a town and kept it quiet. Perfectly paced, aggressively truthful, and rightfully anger-inducing, Dark Waters works in every arena, and it hurts to only put it in 3rd place. In 2nd place comes Little Women.
I believe we have some power over who we love. It isn't something that just happens to a person.
I think the poets might disagree.
Well, I'm not a poet. I'm just a woman. And as a woman, there's no way for me to make my own money. Not enough to earn a living or to support my family. And if I had my own money, which I don't, that money would belong to my husband the moment we got married. And if we had children, they would be his, not mine. They would be his property. So don't sit there and tell me that marriage isn't an economic proposition, because it is.
In Australia, Little Women came out on New Year's Day, and it remained at the top of my list throughout the whole year because it truly is one of the most relaxing films I've ever watched. It's beautiful, with every shot progressing such a simplistic but interesting story of these young women. It's a movie that you don't have to pay too much attention to or worry about because it's simple and really is there just to be admired. Greta Gerwig is a brilliant director, and I truly enjoy watching her directorial films. This was no different. Little Women is just flawless. And finally, my favourite film of the year is The Peanut Butter Falcon.
New rule is you can't slow me down. You understand? Put those on. So what I say is go. I say jump, you say how high.
How high?
There it is. Rule number 1, don't slow me down. Rule number 2, I'm in charge, and you're gonna carry your own weight. Hey, what's rule number 1? What's rule number 1? Party? No, not party. No, it's not party.
This is the definition of a true feel-good movie with no unexpected repercussions to worry about. It's a beautiful story of a young boy with Down syndrome who escapes the assisted living facility he lives in, befriending Shia LaBeouf's character along the way, while Dakota Johnson, the social worker, tracks the both of them down. The Peanut Butter Falcon is everything I ask for in a movie. The chemistry between both LaBeouf and Zach Gottsagen felt real, and that gave the film the edge it needed for all the jokes to land brilliantly. It's a relatively short movie too, only clocking in at 90 or so minutes, and it was the perfect amount of time to convey such a good feeling into the hearts of its audience. I can't credit LaBeouf enough for seemingly spinning himself around for this role because it truly is a highlight of his career. Seeing him and Zach bond, even as movie characters, it felt like I was watching a real brotherhood forming. The Peanut Butter Falcon hit all the right notes for me, and will continue to for the foreseeable future, making it my favourite film of 2020. 2020 has no doubt been a terrible year for many, and while we've all been faced with some difficult challenges, we're finally able to say goodbye to the year, a relief to a lot of you, I'm guessing. Thank you so much for all of your support this year. What films did you actually enjoy this year? I'd love to see your list in the comments. It's been really awesome to receive such overwhelming support with this channel this year, and to see it grow so much. I assure you that I'll be back next year in 2021 with more reviews. This has been Kia's Reviews, signing off for now.